अभी okay, very nice.
Part
इथं फाईल आहे समोर इकडेच आहे. हा ठीक आहे वरचीच आहे मधली त्याच्या खालची हा Am I audible, Dr. Raman? Can you hear me?
yes, ma'am. Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay, fine. I'll just run a quick this PPT as well to see if everything is in order, right?
Please.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
The slides are moving?
Yes, yes. It is moving now.
Perfect, perfect. So can I request the host that screenshots may be taken of the event so that we can send it?
Okay, ma'am, we'll take.
Yeah, so I would need it by the end of the day so that we can send the report to PMO.
Okay, no issues, ma'am. We'll take the
Yes.
screenshot of the event.
Yeah, and is there an audience which is sitting in a particular sort of auditorium or meeting room or something? Sorry? Is the audience sitting as a group somewhere so that picture also can be clicked?
Okay, we'll see, ma'am, if the students are there in the class because they are at different postings also. So they are attending from there. But if somebody is there in the classroom, I'll check.
Nitin, Dr. Raman Yadav. This side.
Yeah, please tell.
No, that's all. So thank you and welcome. Preeti? Hello, Preeti.
Yes, sir.
When we are going to start now? We'll wait for 5 minutes. What?
Sir, sir has joined. Our honorable vice chancellor has joined.
Sir has joined.
Sir,
Okay.
just I'll check, sir.
Yeah.
Sir has not joined.
Huh?
Sir has not. A humble request to all the participants to please mute their microphones. All participants are requested to mute your microphone, please.
Prabha ma'am has joined. Prabha ma'am.
Sir, madam has actually gone for a meeting in hospital along with sir because of that NABH. So in place of Prabha ma'am, we have our professor, Mrs. Susan Jacob. Madam will be delivering the welcome address, sir.
Yoga.
Yes.
Yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter and my grandson, baby, we were together. And he knows me by name Rishi Kai. माझी मुलगी हा नातू.
कधी काही अडचण आली तर तू इथे येऊ शकतो. आता तुला माझं ऑपरेशन बरोबर.
कदम साहेबांनी खूप छान ट्रीट केलं मला.
So shall we start?
Yes. So good afternoon, sir. VC sir. So can we start, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Preeti, you can start now.
Okay, sir. A very warm welcome to the galaxy of intellectual, honorable dignitaries, benevolent faculties, and all young research enthusiastic delegates to this magnificently glorious day of our workshop on understanding intellectual property and its importance, organized by CSIR, NCL Pune, and Indian Patent Office, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, under the National Intellectual Property Awareness Mission, in association with MGM New Bombay College of Nursing and Innovation Incubation Center, MGM IHS. I, Ms. Preeti Banerjee, Assistant Professor, MGM New Bombay College of Nursing, will be the host of today's workshop. As we are about to begin, it is a humble request to all the participants to please mute your microphone. Let the sessions are on. So we hope that everyone is in a happy disposition today, and you will find the presentation and discussions we have lined up for you to be fruitful and engaging. Giving encouragement to those is a most welcome gift. For the result of it are lifted spirits, increased self-worth, and hopeful future. With this quote, I would request Mrs. Susan Jacob, Professor and IKSC Coordinator, MGM New Bombay College of Nursing, to deliver the welcome address. Thank you, Preeti. Let me introduce our resource person for today's program, Dr. Nitin Tiwari. She holds a doctoral degree in biomedical research and is a registered Indian patent agent. She has been awarded with the Women Scientists C scheme from Department of Science and Technology for training in intellectual property rights. She has been nominated by Indian Patent Office for JPO and IPR training program for IP managers in Patent Office, Japan. She has over 12 years of experience in advising on IP protection, IP portfolio planning, management, and value addition. She has been working at the intersection of science, law, and policy, advising on IP-related issues for project agreements and licensing and PP negotiations. She's also into research, scholarly opinions, and policy prescriptions relating to IP law, innovations, and technology policy. She has been a Chevening Fellow in the University of Oxford. I take this opportunity to introduce today's resource person. Madam, over to you. I see that you will be giving our young graduates, young students, inspire your thoughts so that they will have a wonderful session today. Thank you. Over to Preeti.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your warm gesture. I consider it as a great privilege to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor of MGM Institute of Health Science to address the gathering. Sir will be delivering the address through online route. Sir, kindly deliver the.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy that Dr. Nitin Tiwari has agreed, Nitin Shukla from NCL has agreed to deliver the address today regarding nurturing ideas to innovation, knowledge to wealth, and particularly the intellectual property and its importance as a Institute of Health Sciences. And with the new national education policy that is coming up in 2020, all the institutes are busy and trying to have innovation, innovative culture, to build up innovative culture in the institute and trying to do the inventions. And when the intellectual property has been created in the institute, to protect that particular property in a right way is very, very important. The chances of plagiarisms are there, and everyone who is doing the innovation, who is doing or creating the intellectual property, the person should get a proper credit. And there are various ways, and the government is helping to protect your intellectual property right. Just like our property, we protect, similarly the intellectual property and its protection is also of very, very paramount importance. And the various ways are there, and how to follow this, the guidance is being given to all our faculty members in today's session. So thank you, and I welcome all the participants for this particular workshop, and the madam also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your provoking words, for your motivation and encouragement. Now I would request Dr. Raman P. Yadav, Technical Director, MGM IHS Incubation and Innovation Center, to give a brief description and introduction about today's event. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone present for this event, and welcome for this function. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, all the stakeholders of the university, and student, faculty members, and other members. But the most important is today's the speaker, Dr. Nitin Tiwari. She is going to deliver the lecture on this occasion of nurturing the ideas to the innovation under the NIPAM. And I'm happy she is going to deliver because she has very strong background of all the IPR related knowledge. For this program, this was basically under the NCL Pune, as well as the Indian Patent Office are now organizing under the Ministry of Commerce and the Industry. So the idea of this function is to provide a ecosystem that is related to the IPR. In my opinion, IPR is now the important pillar in the national economy. If you see the global wise, the WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization, are basically fostering the ecosystem globally. And if you see this economy of the country, somewhere it is a link with the IPR. The classical example, if you consider, if you see the IPR for the US, Japan, and the China, and you see the economy, GDP, and the IPR, the patent filing, and there is a relation between the intellectual property right and the GDP. So it's a very, very important in reference to the Indian context. The NIPAM are under the NIPAM, the government is trying to cultivate the concept. We are the part of, we are the WIPO having a 193 countries, and we are the part of this WIPO program. So intellectual property is very, very important. Whenever we say it is intellectual property, it's basically a different arena. There is a different domain of the intellectual property, including the patent, the copyright, the trademark, the design, the layout circuit, integrated circuit, the farms right, and all type of things, even the geographical indication. But the most, what is the consciousness, what we are understanding, the awareness in the IPR, not only in the patent, but all the fields. So if you see the patent, of course, in the IPR section is the dominating, but what is the awareness we are looking for, and we are expecting the awareness should be also on the other segment of the IPR, and particularly in the field of the copyright, design, and the geographical indications. If you consider the patent is the major part of the IPR, the South Korean giant company, the Samsung, the highest patent holder. And if you see the patent, the pattern of this patent or the IPR, these are basically the industry centric. And if you will consider the education system, academic institute are the publishing, and we are basically doing a good research, but we are going for the publications. So there is a dilemma at the higher education. Should I go for the patent or should I go for the publication? Therefore, awareness is required. What we should be, what is the route for this? But the most important here, if you see, the research is but for both patent and the publication, research is the common thing. And that's why awareness around the research and the innovation is very, very important. The Thomson addition, if you see the Thomson addition, excellent, like that they discovered the bulk and alkaline battery having a patent 1093. And this patent, it was the result of the research and the innovation. And if you consider the NASA having a good number of the active patent, even the ISRO, I think we are aware of the ISRO having a good number of the patent. And the most recent patent is the moon soil, lunar Simulink moon soil patent to the ISRO. Why am I saying all these things? The awareness is important to generate the IPR or in reference to them. So it's a very useful. But the conclusion in this section is when we are going to do a research, the IPR, I'm hoping the IPR will generate and promote the marketable research rather than only the research. But the few questions are still unresolved. If you see the Indian Patent Act 1970, the section 3 and 4, the non-patentable subject matter, what will be the fate of the non-subject patentable material? And there is basically imbalance between the patent grant and the patent commercialization. So awareness should be there. And also as per the university side, our expectation is also to highlight the importance of the other segment of the IPR, as I earlier told, like a geographical indication. As an institute at MGMIHS, we are also heavily now working on this section, including patent and the copyright and other field. We have some the patent granted, copyright, and others. So we are looking for this type of the awareness program, so we can promote the student and other stakeholder of the university for the better IPR portfolio. And with this, and at last, in the end, I would like to say that there is a three pillar in the innovation, that is the novelty, the non-obviousness, and application. And that's why we need the research, that is a market research, as a result of IPR awareness program. Thank you very much. And I'm hoping that Nitin is going to explain more in this section. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us a brief description about today's event and for your thought-provoking words also. Heading towards the next session, we are having an opportunity to listen the session, Understanding Intellectual Property and its Importance, by a great knowledgeable speaker, Dr. Nitin Tiwari, Principal Scientist and Head Intellectual Property Group of CSIR NCL Pune. Madam, we welcome you today for today's session, and over to you. Kindly start the session.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction, Preeti, and thank you to Dr. Jacob and Dr. Dalvi for realizing the importance of intellectual property and arranging a talk like this, which is very, very relevant in today's date and time, when even government has realized that there should be substantial IP awareness, so that whatever research is being done in laboratories and all, it actually reaches the general people. And for that, this NIPAM mission under which this particular program is being conducted, this was launched. And after that, there's NIPAM 2.0 also, under which now we are functioning, which is National Intellectual Property Awareness Mission. So this is a drive at a national level, which is being conducted by various agencies which are related or associated to Patent Office of India, and that is a mandate, spread awareness. And yesterday we had, and for this entire month, 1st to 31st July, we are celebrating the IP Mahotsav, the Bauddhik Sampada Mahotsav, and the purpose has been to spread as much awareness as possible within the various groups, within the various stakeholders like academicians, research institutes, school children from 8th and above, and also these the entrepreneurs and business incubators, etc. And I'm very proud to say that we have done successfully around 19 events, and this is the 20th and the last in the series of this IP Mahotsav, this IP festival of this. And yesterday, the Controller General of Indian and Patent Trademark Office, Professor Dr. Unnat Pandit, was in the program, the valedictory event which we conducted, and I want to echo his words that to convey the essence of all these efforts as India moves to a $3 trillion economy, that we have to be creative India and innovative India. So Rachnatmak Bharat, Abhinav Bharat. So this is how we are looking at all these efforts finally culminating into that all of you sitting here in audience should realize what is the intellectual property, why is it important, why only having a publication or a PhD thesis will not help you, right? So the point here to be driven is that if we have a tangible property, like if we have a land parcel or a house, we try and find the investment, like we try and use it in a manner in which the return of investment is maximum. Like if it is say a marketplace, then we would like to rent it out to a particular business firm which is doing very well, so that we have a high probability of the sustained income. Or we may think of options like renting it out to franchisee like McDonald's, wherein the quality is also maintained and your place gets a good revenue. But we fail to correlate this in case of intangible property, which intellectual property is. So as we move from from traditional economy to knowledge economy. This is very, very important to realize that intellectual property is an asset, and these days around 50% of the assets are intangible assets, unlike earlier wherein there were around 90% of assets as tangible assets, like companies had plays, reactors, and all this, which they used to call tangible assets, and correctly so. But now with the knowledge economy, the importance is more on the intangible assets. So IP right now can be listed as a collateral in the balance sheets also, and this is how important IP has become in this knowledge-driven economy. So Dr. Raman has already given a very good background and eased my work as I go ahead. He has explained quite in detail why it is important and about the patentability criteria also. So before moving to the actual talk, building the base from Dr. Raman's statement, I would like to tell you quickly about who I am, and I represent Intellectual Property Group of NCL. The aim of which is to have a strategic role and help scientists and strategize and valorize the value of the IP generated within CSIR. So we are a small group of people. I head the Intellectual Property Group, and then I have Dr. Niranjan helping me in other activities as well. And this is our services are outsourced to a private firm, wherein they help us in drafting and prosecution. And we also have a technology management group which helps us in taking cost-related decisions on IP protection. Like being intellectual property group, we decide as to whether or not a particular thing will be patentable in a particular country, because there are variations in the law all across. But the technology management group helps us that, okay, this is patentable, then in what countries this should be patentable. So basically the questions we are addressing, IP group addresses whether to file, and the technology management group assesses where to file aspect of the invention, depending upon the techno-commercial evaluations they do. So these are a few of the activities which we do. Patent administration, as expected out of us, we receive in-house disclosures, we file, we protect, prosecute, and this is done in resonance with our Delhi office. The intellectual property protection unit there. And we also maintain certain records and databases, which are very, very important. IP being one of our assets, so that also has to be taken care of. That everything is properly recorded, and there are timeline-oriented things as well. So there are material transfer agreements which IP Group assists into. In case of collaborative researches, there may be a possibility of material going out and material coming in, some biological material which can be very, very relevant if there are subsequent inventions on it. Material transfer agreement have to have IP clauses in advance, and I think this is also relevant, something for your setup as well, being a nursing college and all, wherein there could be some exchange of material, there could be, say, a device or a setup for a nursing station, etc., which may have certain technicality to help out the staff here. So there could be some material transfer agreement related to your work as well. We are also into research support. When our NCL scientists start a particular research work, we try and do a pre-research assessment wherein we see that the work they are starting is not already known, or it does not turn out to be a reinventing field matter. So we have to be very cautious where we are investing our resources. Then we have freedom to operate. Once the product is licensed, once the technology is ready, we extrapolate it to whatever products are available in the market and whether or not we will be infringing. So being a publicly funded lab, it is our duty that we do not step upon anybody else's IP, and we should be respecting others' IP. So this is a very important exercise we do, just like other MNCs who do a thorough exercise before launching their products. Then awareness and promotion, something like what we are doing right now. Portfolio and investment management, we decide this is a cost-intensive, IP maintenance is a cost-intensive decision. So we need to take a call, where do we want to file, how long do we want to maintain a particular patent, because we cannot keep investing in a technology which we are not no more interested. So this leads to a common trend, or common, I would say, standard practice in industry, wherein any IP strategy is linked to the business strategy of a company. So in our case also, though we are a publicly funded lab, we have a vision statement, and we have certain mandates from government also that we should be meeting. Depending upon that, our technology area also changes or sort of deviates. While the food security, energy independence remains the core, but we may move further. So we need to decide when do we need to stop maintaining a particular IP, and marketing, valuation, and licensing. If we have a technology, how do we tell the people that we have this technology? Because we are a publicly funded lab, so people don't generally approach us saying that, do you have this? Do you have this? They come with questions. We need to questions which they want to be solving, and that becomes like a industrial project. But here we are talking technology which we have already created. So we need to approach industry and tell them, okay, this is what we have in hand. Are you ready to partner with us? So putting things in perspective of numbers, CSIR is a topmost patent grantee in India, and we contribute to around 30% of this. And if we were not filing under the umbrella of CSIR, we would have been the third most top filers here alone. So these are the kind of numbers we are looking up to. So now coming to the talk, the objectives of the talk today are realizing the importance of IP, various forms of IP, and how to harness IP for business growth. So the first question is, why is IP to be protected, right? Being students, being medical practitioners, or being researchers, it is fine if they have a publication alone, right? Why do we need to have protected IP and invest into it so much? So the first and foremost reason, as Dr. Dalvi also said, that we need to be crediting the inventors. That should be acknowledged that they have worked on something. Something new and something innovative. So first and foremost, in our setups, in our institution setup, comes the credit, giving the credit or acknowledging the work. And apart from that, if we just end our work at the publication, you think of the prospects that the technology will be only in papers. Technology, will anybody risk on a technology which everybody can practice? Why will a company pick a particular solution, even if it is very good solution, if anybody else can work on it? So why would a company work on it? Because they need a monopoly on that work, so that only they can get the fruits of the effort they have taken to risk on that technology. So protected IP gives you that monopoly, right? So this encourages innovation and rewards entrepreneurs. So IP creates and supports high-paying jobs as well, and intellectual jobs as well. As the IP ecosystem starts building up, we see there are a lot of patenting will be there. So we need patent agents. There would be law firms who would be hiring patent agents. There would be a lot of cases. So that we would have judges, we have patent attorneys, and we also have patent examiners. So there is a multi-focal growth in the number of jobs which will be generated. Then intellectual property helps generate breakthrough solutions to global challenges. So we have seen this in case of COVID, that there were breakthrough solutions to the global challenge of COVID, and companies had made a couple of these I would say accessories which were used to help the medical practitioners, and also the vaccines. So this is a very important aspect why IP needs to be protected. So a question to you all is, suppose you go into a market and you find that only one product is there. What is the fun in this buying one product? You don't have a choice, right? You have very specific needs. If they are not entertained, why would you enjoy shopping for a particular thing? So this particular aspect of protected IP also helps to drive competition. So if there is a company which has taken a lead in producing something, and say these the memory foam technology of Skechers shoes, right? So they have taken a lead in the technology. As soon as it becomes off patent or off protection, every other company would like to monetize on that. So they will also want to work, they will also want to produce good quality products similar to the company. So this results in increased competition and thus increased choices for choices for the customer. So this is also important from the point of view of customers as well. Then ensuring material reward for intellectual property. So organizations like NGHIMS and NCL, we can't enter into manufacturing ourselves. So we need to license or assign or transfer a technology to somebody who can do that. So this will result. This will only result when we have a protected IP, when we can give monopoly to other. So this will ensure material reward also for IP. And these days, when we are talking of startups, etc., then having a protected IP will also ensure that you receive funding from VCs, etc., as well, because they tend to take you seriously. That okay, you have invested in your IP, that means you know your business well. This is one of the aspects. Then ensuring the availability of the genuine and original products. So this is very, very important, especially in a setup of say medical diagnostics, etc., where even a slighter change in the value can be fatal for a person. It can be life-threatening for a person. So in case there is a protected IP, there is a certain know-how which is related to it, and proper follow-up of that will result in quality products. But if there are fake products in the market, they may work around the original products and find something which it just works, right? It may not be working perfectly. So protection of IP is also necessary for making available only the genuine and original products. By then you will other parties who are making fake products in your name, etc. So this is also one of the aspects why IP needs to be protected. So this particular slide is adapted from Archimedes principle, where from Archimedes statement, which says that if you give me a lever of some length, desired length, I can move the world around. So here the lever is the patent or the IP coverage on which is resting on the competitive environment. So how you manage your patent coverage or IP coverage will determine how much business advantage you have and eventually you get the business goals. So this is a slide wherein we compare the brand value of companies around 20 years apart, right? So do you all notice anything peculiar here? I request answers from the audience. Any observation from this list? Any answers from the audience? Okay, so the thing I want to highlight by this table is that if you see that there are so many commonalities in the brand value of companies across 20 years also, like Coca-Cola, Walt Disney's, Google, and this Google, Microsoft, all are there in this list as well. And there are other companies who have just gone up and down, but the companies have been there because of their innovative capacity. So there are certain lessons learned from cases like Kodak, Xerox, Nokia. So Kodak, the story is that Kodak, we all know, used to work around cameras and the camera rules. But with the advent of the digital photography, digital cameras, the business of Kodak started reducing. The irony is that Kodak had a digital camera already in its team. They got a patent protected, but they failed to develop upon them. So they did not realize that the technology was moving ahead and they did not keep a pace with that. Then coming to Xerox, we realized that Xerox earlier, the big machines were there, which were resource intensive. Companies had to give them a separate space, and there should be a resource person to handle that. And in case there was a downtime in the machine, the person who corrects that should be was on a waiting, and the machine could not be used for a couple of days. So the issues here were the big size, the resource intensive nature of the machine, the high cost associated to it, and Xerox failed to sort of address the customer's need. what happened, then these smaller players like HP and all came into the desktop compact scanners, photocopiers, printers, which replaced the Xerox thing completely. The idea here is that Xerox failed to simplify the business model and simplify the technology. Then coming to Nokia. So Nokia, we all know, was a business leader. 99% of the market share was with Nokia, but they focused on technologies of. They wanted to focus on this QWERTY keypad only. They did not switch to the touch panel technology, which was required by then, and Apple and Samsung got the first business advantage there. Nokia then wanted to switch over to that technology. They launched a phone, but they eventually failed because the cost and all were very exorbitant, and they wanted to run exclusively with Microsoft. So there was not enough competition and out in their favor. So Nokia, being a market leader, still lost, and being it was declared bankrupt few years ago, which we can assess the reason now why it was happened. Coming to the various forms of IP, so there are 8 forms of IP. I think top 4 would be known to majority of you, and the top 4 I would rather be telling you about today. So okay, then so there are like trademarks. A trademark is any sign which can distinguish the goods of one trade from those of another. Sign includes words, logos, or pictures, like word mark, Kodak, design mark, Nike. It could be a composite mark which contains both words and design, like McDonald's and red and yellow combination. Slogans like "We bring good things to life," and then there are certain trademarks for the places also. Like Kerala's God's own country, I love New York. So all these boost so locally. They improve the economy at a local level by attracting people, indicating that they stand for certain quality. Then there are certificate trademarks like we have ISO. So in case the Green Globe certification, which stands for an ecotourism label that promotes sustainable tourism. So these days, even houses have green houses, and buildings also have Green Globe certification because they are on a sustainable model. So these are certifications. So if you meet a certain criteria, then you are supposed to be using these certification marks. Then come collection marks. So in case there are the group of people or small businesses which want to gain visibility and reputation, so they can develop a sort of collective mark together and for marketing. Like Logis is a registered trademark federation for e-Logis. These are like hotels, small hotels running in isolated places, rural settings, grouped under the same label. Similarly, Bullmark is there. So these trademarks are there. Then there are certain non-conventional trademarks like the sound marks, certain perfume bottles, the pop sound. So these are non-conventional trademarks. Then smell marks, taste marks are also there, but not in India. Hologram marks like we see on the strip of medicines. Motion mark, which is used by a company strategically by in computer programs or software animation techniques, these motions are given. Just like if you remember, there are a couple of production houses wherein the lion is roaring. These are the motion marks. Then there are trade dress. And the overall look and appearance of the product or packaging when it sits on the market shelf. That is a trade dress. So put things in perspective by citing this case, PayPal versus Paytm. So immediately after the demonetization drive in 2016, PayPal, which is a mobile wallet company of US, which is having business in a couple of countries around the world, majority of the countries around the world, they filed an objection against the trademark of Paytm. They said that they are also using this word pay, and the blue color combination they use is very, very similar. So they had tried to slavishly adopt the trademark of PayPal. This is what they said. The court said that, and we all would recall that immediately after demonetization drive, Paytm was growing like anything. And even the people who are not technology savvy had to resort to Paytm because of the reasons. said that the blue color combination, first is that we both are using word pay because, and we cannot stop that because pay is the usual word which is used for making payments, and that is what both of you do. Coming to the color combination, so there was an analysis of color combinations, so and it was found that the dark blue, the light blue which Paytm uses is technically different from PayPal. It may look very similar, but they are actually different techniques. And so the difference would be compared easily. And the courts also said that the people who are using Paytm, they will just not be confused to use PayPal, and then PayPal until then did not have like a big market in India until 2016. So, and the penetration of PayPal was much more than Paytm was much more than PayPal. So the summary was that a trademark, if registered without the limitation of color, shall be deemed registered for all colors, right? So coming to copyright, so it protects literary and artistic rights, example books, lectures, dramatics and musical works, choreography, geography, drawings, paintings, architecture, sculpture, and unlike all other rights, this is an automatic right. And no formal registration is mandatory, but it is always better to have a registration because if something turns out to be a blockbuster, just like the J.K. Rowling's novel, then can the host please mute? Can the host please mute everybody by default? Thank you. So yeah, so this is an automatic right which is created. So if something turns out to be a blockbuster like J.K. Rowling's, then Harry Potter, which was a famous novel as well and a movie also, and so many rights associated, then it becomes a problem. If you have to prove your own creation, your own novelty of the work that you did it first, your priority in court of law. So having a registration is always good. So given the settings in which the audience right now is like the MGMI's audience, anything, any literature, like the research articles, the pamphlets, the SOPs you may develop, the figures you may develop, or any diagnostic, say, tool you develop. So all these could be covered by copyrights as well. So you should look your work from this perspective as well. So yeah. So what are the rights covered under copyright? So economic rights, like all other form of IP rights, these rights, copyrights can be for exploiting the work, rights of translation, rights of performance, right of reproduction, which can be transferred, assigned license for economic benefit. So these are very, very common uses of IP rights, just like the tangible property, they also can be transferred, assigned, licensed, rented out for economic benefits. But copyrights very, very unusually have these author's right of paternity also. Moral rights. That means in case you work for somebody and generated, say, a piece of statue, and obviously the person paid for that, so he or she will take it, use it in some way of decorating his house or office or anything. But then if you notice that the statue you have made is being defiled, suppose it like the hand is broken or the color is changed or it is patchy, you always call these moral rights in place and say, I did give you economic rights, but the moral rights still rest with me. Using those, I can stop you from defiling, defaming my work in case it is a say poem or any write-up. Somebody wants something which makes it derogatory, changes its meaning. The moral right of the author's right can always be called into picture, saying that even if I have sold the economic rights, I have these rights remaining, and using these I will stop you from doing all this. Now there are some exceptions to protection, like the free use for the quotations for commentary, illustrations for teaching, current news reporting. So all these three can be like the ways where you can use the information which is being created by somebody else, but you are using it. But free use is dependent on the amount of work and whether or not you are making money out of it, right? And however, even if both these things happen, the mention of original author or source is must. So this is the very, very crucial thing. And to highlight this, I have this case again. So we all know this is the Hope poster, right? It was created during 2008 Obama presidential campaign in US. And this poster was based on Obama's picture here, which was clicked by a freelancer, Manny Garcia. So Manny Garcia's photograph was used by Shepard Fairey to make this Hope poster. Manny Garcia objected that this is not fair use of the work because you are not taking my permission and you are making monetary use of this particular poster. So then there was no case, but there was an outlaw private settlement in January 2011 wherein the profits were shared between parties. But very important thing which came out from this work was Garcia said that my work would not have reached the level of fame and date if Fairey would not have made the poster. Garcia said that I am so proud of the photograph and that Fairey did what he did artistically to this. But my only issue was that Fairey took the image without permission and did not give any credit to me. This is very crucial. Then a similar example back home, wherein this Chhota Bheem character, which is the first Indian animated character, which is owned by Green Gold Animation. So here, the trademark and copyright is owned by Green Gold Animation. And they had this Green Gold Animation had seeking actions against sellers, Tech Connect Retail, Acme Housewares for infringing their trademark because these products they were selling the bed sheets, pillow covers, water bottles with cartoon characters. Court issued injunction orders and then they had to take license from Green Gold to manufacture such products. So this is the importance of the copyright or trademark together. They can be effective IP. They can be an effective IP strategy, which I will discuss. So now comes to design. So designs are very, very crucial part of IP because the design is the thing that decides whether or not you will buy a product from the market. Like it is like how it is a touch and feel is very important. And if you don't like a particular design, you want to explore the product for further scanning, whether you will buy or not buy. So design is that important. And design protects ornamental or aesthetic aspect of an article which enhances visual appearance and differentiates the product. And it could be like a 3D picture of shape, surface, 2D patterns, lines, etc. Design registration is intended to have protect design which is industrial or commercial use, right? Again, this particular thing is very important in case of your setup, the medical sector, wherein you have certain, say, any device which can help you probably, like dentists have, which can help them maneuver it well. Then there are certain type of stents which can be protected. So all these things can be protected under the design. So duration of designs is like for 10 years and extendable for another term of 5 years. This is one particular design from NCL which we have got protected, the micro mixer here. So this we have got protected. I'll skip this. Then we come to patent. So patents we all know this is a legal protection granted by the government. Why does the government grant? Because we submit a specification which improves the state of the art. So government grants in lieu of that disclosure a legal protection to us for 20 years, but provided we meet all other formalities as well. So that the lifespan of our patent continues for a complete term of 20 years. So a patent is a negative right because you can stop others from making, selling your invention without your permission. A territorial right because a patent patent grant is only for a particular country, a particular jurisdiction. There is no world patent at all. And if you file a patent, if you get a patent in India, you can enforce your rights in India. You cannot stop anybody who's working your invention in US from working your invention based on an Indian patent. You will say go in India and then enforce it because there is no patent granted in US, so you don't have any right here. So this should be very clear to you. There are no world patents and the patent rights are territorial. And what can be granted a patent and any field of technology, whether products or processes. Earlier there were times like process patent. So as Dr. Raman told, that novelty, utility, like an application part are very important patentability criteria. So just to give you acronym phrase which you can even remember after this talk, the patentability criteria are called as nuance test. First 10 is novelty. That means whatever work you have in hand is either to unknown, not known by anybody, not practiced by anybody, not published anywhere, not in the market, etc. So your work is novel, totally unknown. Utility, that your work should be having some industrial application. It can be produced in the industry. Non-obviousness, that your work is not an obvious extension of whatever was existing in the prior. Your work should involve an inventive step, some technological advancement or reduction of cost. So this is non-obviousness. Then it stands for statutory patentable invention. This one. So Dr. Raman also briefed about Section 3 and Section 4 of the Patent Act, which lists certain inventions which cannot be patentable. Right? No matter if they are novel inventive, they cannot be patented, which include method of treatment, method of diagnostic, etc., and anything related to anything against public order and morality. All these are then sufficiently disclosed in the specification. That means the specification which you are submitting for the grant of patent, your work should be clearly disclosed therein, by which people who want to practice your invention can also reproduce your invention without undue experimentation. So that is very important aspect, and that is why we get a patent right in lieu of this disclosure. So just to summarize what can be patented, so in the setup of the research, kind of research which is going on, the medical colleges like nucleic acid sequencer, protein sequencer, antibodies, small molecule machine devices, method of making synthesis, these can be patented. But method of treatment, diagnostics, screening, all of animals, plants, and humans cannot be patented. Then a mere discovery of new form, new property, new the efficacy. This is very important. So putting the patent criteria in perspective of this wired message transmission. In early 18th century, so earlier there was a source which was connected via wires to a receiver device which transmitted a message to destination. Again, this was wire connected. So there was a long distance communication which was very difficult. It was based on wires, and if there was any say weather issue, then there was no transmission at all. So then comes Marconi's radio telegraphy system, which supersedes the use of wires, and there was wireless communication for the first time, based on which there was the radio waves were communicating to transmit a particular message to the destination. So here the invention is novel for sure, and whether or not it is invented, that can be assessed with respect to the radio transmission, and like it was a radio transmission, it was not based on wires. Long distance communication was possible. There was reduction of data loss and interference. There was an increase in the communication speed, and because there was no dependence on the wires, the communications were even more predictable. That okay, there will be no complete blackouts in case the weather is not there. Definitely, there was an inventive shift. Such things can be granted a patent. Coming to the fifth form of IP, the geographical indications. So, geographical indications, as its name says, they are indicators of the geography. So, where a particular agriculture or manufactured good is coming from. These things are called these particular names are called geographical indicators. Unlike all the forms of IP, these are owned by a group of people or a society who have come together to protect a particular item which is grown or produced in that territory, which has certain specific characteristics. So, like Darjeeling tea from India, then Chandeli sarees, Solapur chadars, Kerry towels, Mysore silk, Kotadoriya, Kali sarees, full shawls, Digri wares, Orissa ikat, Chalpatna toys and dolls, Mysore sandal soap, Mysore lake. These are like protected GIs. If we go on the patent office website, we will find there's a list of from 3,500 GIs from India and abroad which have been protected in India. Similarly, abroad also, like we have the Swiss watches, Swiss chocolates, or for cheese, and so on. So these places indicate and they boost the economy locally because suppose a grower of Devar mangoes is there, so he could be producing the Devar mangoes and he's getting name of saying that these are genuine Devar mangoes, which have a particular taste or flavor. Information. Trade secret is a secret which can be traded, meaning that it gives you a competitive edge over your other players of the field, and which could be like a formulate, designs, patterns, potential information, business plans, client list, unannounced products, etc. So these information can be called as trade secrets for a company, which have commercial value for a company, which gives them competitive edge. Coca-Cola is the best known, best kept trade secret until now. People have tried to reverse engineer since here, but they have not been able to get the actual taste, flavor, etc. So you in your work also may have certain trade secrets or some confidential information, right? Like a particular process, it will work like this or it will not work like this. So you can always keep that as a secret. Then comes the seventh form of IP, the plant variety. So basically, in India, the plant patents are not granted, but there is a lot of innovation which goes on with the plant variety, wherein the yield is increased, wherein there are improvements in the texture, color, etc. So such innovations also have to be protected. So plant variety is defined by the expression of the characteristic resulting from a given genotype or combination of genotypes. As we learned in patents, there is nonce test in Plant Variety Act, or there's a separate act for plant protection, which is called PPVFRA, the Protection of Plant Variety and Farmers' Right Act. So this is a holistic act to protect the rights of the farmers. So so the criteria for patents we learned were nonce test, but in case of plant variety, they are DUS test. D is for distinctness, that whatever variety you have worked on is distinct over the other existing species. Then it should be uniform. It should not happen that one particular plant expresses it in some way and the other plant expresses in some other way. So there should be a uniformity in expression and the stability. The changes you have made in the particular variety should not die over one particular generation. They should continue over generations. So this DUS, distinctness, uniformity, stability are the criteria for grant of a plant variety. Then we come to the eighth form of IP, which is the integrated circuit layout designs, which includes the layout of transistors, other circuit elements, lead wires, connecting such elements and expressed in any manner in a semiconductor. So we all know that these integrated circuit layouts are very, very crucial for our day-to-day life. We remember earlier days when we have these pen drives of such big sizes, but they used to store information in KBs. But now we have small pen drives which store information in GBs. So this is the impact, economic impact of the semiconductor, these layout designs, etc. But if we want to protect it using traditional forms of IP like patents or copyrights, first the protection will not be strong. Second thing is, for patents they cannot qualify for novelty because sometimes it may just be a miniaturization, so they will not stand novel. But this miniaturization has a lot of economic impacts, and any inventor, any innovator who's working on these aspects should have the returns on their investment. So there is a separate act for Semiconductor Integrated Circuit Layout Design Act of 2000, in which you can protect these integrated circuit layout designs as well. So this may relate to your work in the terms that there are certain, like you may develop certain diagnostic kit or certain assay, and there could be a reader associated to it. wherein you are working on a certain IC there, right? So you can protect that as well, of course, along with other aspects of the invention. So, yeah. So now the question is that you know all the forms of IP, right? And how do you deploy which form of IP should be there? So if we see, this is determined by IP continuum model, wherein there is functionality in the center, which is covered by patents and trade secrets. So we all know patent is a life of 20 years at the most, and trade secret as long as you can maintain. So that becomes the innermost circle. Then comes the expression, which is the copyright. So expression, like how are you how are you marketing your technology? What are you calling your technology? That could be meriting copyright. So copyright again has a like a longer life than patents. So 60 years after the death of the author. So this is the life of copyright, and then comes the brand, totality of brand, which is determined by trademark, trade dress, and this is the uniqueness which you can maintain as long as you want. So a very good example of this could be Biocon, wherein there are patents, there are trade secrets, then there are copyrights. We see how Biocon is written, right? And then is the brand Biocon, the dress, the blue combination of the Biocon. So this is the IP strategy they use. There are trademarks also to Biocon and its subsidiaries, which I will just discuss. So now coming to the example itself. So Biocon. Now the question to you is, okay, we understand the importance of IP, but how do we actually do it, right? How can we use IP? Is IP only of the use when we are researching on a particular topic? We are actively into a wet lab, then only can IP be used? The answer is you can use IP in many forms. Like you can be a passive user of the IP literature, which has abundant knowledge in it. Latest technology updates are there, just like Biocon did, and I discussed that. Then you can also use your IP knowledge for enhancing your brand value or your portfolio, right? And minimize the resources you want to invest into a particular technology by licensing in the technology or licensing out the technology to a particular company. Then you can also actually synthesize, produce products which you have patent protected. Coming to Biocon, I will tell you the story quickly. So Kiran Majumdar wanted to work on this on her father's beer business after returning from Australia in 78. But then her father said that it's better you use your talent elsewhere. So she decided, okay, I will work on enzyme papain, and which is obtained from papaya, controls that frothing of the beer. So she started her company from a small garage and handful of money with an Irish company. And in 88 or so, the Irish company sold its rights Unilever. And Unilever started, and Kiran Majumdar bought the shares of her company back in 98 from Unilever. So then the company was solely owned by Biocon only. So, and then they started working on various other like clinical research areas as well, some medicines as well. So there were two subsidiaries of the company called the Clingene and the Syngene. So the Syngene was working on the product and the process part of the medicines, which was their main portfolio, and Clingene was working on clinical research. Both these trademarks were protected in the Indian Patent Office and internationally as well. And then Biocon moved on to use of human insulin. So they realized while reviewing the patent literature, for the patent literature, wherein they realized that companies were making these the human insulin using PCIs, using Baker's yeast, another form of yeast. So, and the human insulin product was protected, and the product was protected until 2004. So then when the product was off patent, Biocon wanted to manufacture this particular human insulin compound. So they studied the patent literature. They found that everybody was using Baker's yeast and all, but there was a small company which was using PCI yeast to make peptides. So they adopted that technology. They licensed in that technology to use it as to use it as their model product for producing the human insulin in a separate way without infringing on somebody else's IP. So this is the business model which Biocon used, like effectively using IP as a tool for the business. Then there's another story I will quickly tell you. So these are the fidget spinners we see now. So there was this ancient fidget spinner which was made by Hettinger, who was a mother who was babysitting her ailing daughter. And what she created was similar to a frisbee. She went to a company, Hasbro, for commercializing it, but Hasbro rejected. And it was around the 2000s when this patent came off shelf, and Scott McCoskey, this person of MD Engineering LLC, they made this, they redefined this fidget spinner in the shape we look at it. They marketed it well with the names Top Bar, and semi-custom Top Bar, Luna Top Bar, etc., etc. They gave it names. They also marketed it saying that it is curing conditions like anxiety, autism, OCD, etc. And they got certain testimonials to market the technology. And they said that we announced the granting of utility patent number this by USPTO, covering many significant claims for fidget spinners. So all this was there. And they also said that we were the best of the breed, first and the first to market. They did not say first to invent, but first to market. So all these aspects are also important when we are considering protection of IP. That you may study the IP literature well, you may find certain problems which you can start working on, but you can practice it only after the patent is off shelf. And if you look here for licensing of IP owned by this, so they are licensing the IP as well apart from innovating. So yeah, I end my presentation here. Just to tell you, this is the hangover view of my office window as it looks today. So any questions I will be happy to address.
We are open for the question and answer session. If from audience anyone is having any queries regarding today's session, they can ask question to Dr. Nitin.
I would like to ask one question.
Yeah.
If you're going for the US patent, isn't it requirement first we have to go for the Indian patent?
Yes, it is mandatory to go for Indian patent first. Or we should take permission for foreign filing permission from patent office. Otherwise, that is like a criminal offense if we go ahead without telling patent office.
Okay. And recently, if you see, the Parliament has passed that the bill of the biodiversity, and the
Lok Sabha has passed. It is pending in Rajya Sabha still.
Yeah. If you see this, the biodiversity, the requirement of the biodiversity, there is a permission required if somebody has used biological material. So, what is your opinion on this? I mean,
so there are certain changes which the revised Biodiversity Act says, and I am very happy with it because it says that only when you commercialize the bio-related patent, then only you come to us, not just for filing, right?
Oh.
So this offloads a lot of administrative burden which has been shed on the organizations like NCL who are filing. But biological patents are not so easily commercialized, and not every patent is commercialized.
This
So that is the issue which they have addressed.
Yes, thank you. From the audience, if you have any questions that you can ask, ma'am. Not only the patent, any part, any section.
Hello, ma'am. This is Victoria here.
Yeah.
Just regarding the recent, if you know the Kantara song and the Varaha Rupam, so they had filed a copyright issue. So in such cases, how it would be decided? Because I had heard both the songs, so it's almost same. Like the music and everything is same. So how the patent office or the legal issue is decided whether whether the Kantara they have to pay any compensation thing?
So it was like it is decided who did it first.
Yes.
The priority is important in case of IP. Who did it first is the person who really owns it, right?
Yes.
So that was one of the parameters on which this particular case was decided.
Thank you.
And there were no monetary exchanges, but that portion was removed. That portion which was just common was removed, and then it was
Okay.
re-released. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Preeti, so Preeti, if there is no question, you can come.
So here we have come to the end of today's workshop. I'm hereby present in front of everyone to conclude the session with the concluding remark and vote of thanks. First of all, Madam, thank you so much, Dr. Nitin Tiwari, Madam, for such a wonderful, insightful, in-depth, everything in a brief, in a very detailed, although, and in a precise way to orient us about the IP, the patent, the strategies, what we can use, why it is needed, how to be promoted, and how intellectual property help us to generate breakthrough solutions through global change. And about the NUNS test, that is NUNSS test, IP strategies. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much on behalf of everyone on behalf of MGM IHS for such a wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you to Dr. Raman here and Dr. Dalvi also, and Preeti, you also, who all have been instrumental in arranging this particular program, and in the first place agreeing to conduct this program in such a short notice as well. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the appreciation. I look forward to interact with you all soon. Thank you.
And we would definitely like to hear to you, ma'am, in future also. Thank you so much. Now I'm hereby to propose the vote of thanks. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks for today's session. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all those who have made this event possible. I would like to start by thanking our management, chief patrons of MGM IHS, who have always been supportive to our initiatives and encouraged us to strive for excellence. I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, MGM IHS, who have taken time out of his busy schedule to grace this occasion with his presence. I would like to extend my thanks and my gratitude towards our speaker, Dr. Nitin Tiwari, Principal Scientist, CSIR NCL Pune, Indian Patent Office, and Ministry of Commerce and Industry, for organizing such an insightful, knowledgeable, everything related to the patency, which is very clear to each and every individual. Such type of workshop is very useful for our upcoming enthusiastic researchers. Next, I would like to extend my gratitude towards Dr. Raman P. Yadav, Technical Director, Incubation and Innovation Center, MGM IHS, who have been our guiding light throughout our journey, who took the responsibility actually for this workshop to be a success. Thank you, sir. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Prabhake Dasila, Director, MGM New Bombay College of Nursing. Madam took the initiative to conduct this event and enabled us to learn new things about the new technology, and also motivated us and our students to be a part of this wonderful program. Special thanks to Ms. Harshita Mohanty for her constant support. My heartfelt thanks to whole IT team, Mrs. Sunita, Mr. Anil Khandekar, Mr. Nitin Pawar. Without them, the event would not have been successful or possible. Last but not the least, a very great and very heartfelt thanks to all enthusiastic delegates, students, and faculties from every corner for being such an active part of this workshop. Thank you once again to each and everyone for making this event successful. I'm very sorry and my apologies if I have missed someone's name. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Preeti, from my side.